484i.
Yes.
484 whole interlaced lines of picture.
Because, good God, what is this thing?
High resolution images.
3DO.
Graphics. Compact discs. High density data storage. Blast processing. No, that was the Genesis.
No, that's not this system. But we're going back for one of the first videos that we did.
Yep, this time it's gonna work.
Yes, this time I don't have to rely on an emulator. This time I'm running it from the authentic hardware because I own a 3DO for some reason.
And this is that reason.
Exactly. So here we are back again with C.P.U. Bach, where everything's actually going to work this time instead of flip out on me.
Where the white keys are black and the black keys are white.
Well, that's actually how harpsichords were originally set up.
Screwball bastards. You mean even with these giant microchips and everything?
That was something that was added later.
This is a bit of a bit of a deviation.
A little bit. Extremely 90s.
Overdrawn at the memory bank, starring Raul Julia. No wait.
Hi, C.P.U. Bach.
Hi, C.P.U.
It's been a while.
Hi, C.P.U.
Made by Sid Meier, of all people.
Oh, wait a minute. Programmed by Sid Meier, but there was different programming for the 3DO? That's confusing.
That is very confusing, considering I didn't think this was made for anything else other than the 3DO.
Well, they might have done the basic system programming on something else,
true.
and then somebody had to deal with the 3DO specific crap, like disk loads and things like that.
Yes.
These old systems weren't fun to program.
But C.P.U. Bach is basically kind of what it says on the tin. It's, well...
It's computer Bach.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't really started off with a very good one.
Nah. Now let's see if I can remember the controls.
I remember the controls for this being very strange.
Yeah, they're a little weird.
And then it's not exactly responsive because it's loading.
Yeah, so basically what this is, it's Composer on a CD. If you think composer as in Baroque style composing, a la, Johann Sebastian Bach or some of his offspring, some of the earlier offspring, because the ones that came later were more of a classical compositional standpoint, which gets into a lot more formal rules and is just a big old mess. So we're not going to deal with that.
Nerd! Sorry, what?
I studied music in high school. Leave me the hell alone. And in college. I don't know why I just said high school.
It's all the same shit.
It's like, I'm a music teacher. Leave me the hell alone. Alright, so basically what this is you have it has a bunch of preset kind of programs where basically it kind of has a bunch of different styles of music, and you can kind of do a couple things. You can change what is played and what instruments play that particular style of piece, which you can see here. The more eighth notes there are, the more likely it is to show up. Same thing here. And we can do a bunch of different ones. Like, it has a bunch of preset different programs. So I can edit this, if I can, there we go. So I can edit it, I can make them more common or less common. I can go in and edit the instruments, and let's say I wanted, just oboe and violin, which is kind of an odd combination, but who cares?
Oboe, violin, and harpsichord.
So, you have a bunch of, like I said, there's a bunch of different ones, and you can edit them. And then there are ones that you can actually save. Like, if there's one that gets played back that you actually really like, you can save them onto the 3DO's memory. I guess you could say it's a memory card.
Nice.
So these are a bunch of the ones that I've saved. Since I live in Maryland, it would be appropriate to listen to the Crab Prelude
The,
in F major.
The Prelude to Crab in F major.
Sure, why not? So let's listen to the Crab Prelude by C.P.U. Bach here on NPR. Oh wait, that was a previous job.
That's alright. Smooth and smarmy. This does sound like a rather crab-like soiree. Just imagine a little crab with a top hat wandering around for this. Occasional title cards show up, tell you what the crab is saying because it's a silent picture. I say, Sir Crab, where have you got your latest haircut? What the hell? This is part where the water starts boiling.
Just want to make it interesting. So there's that. So let's go back.
Let us go back to 1722.
Ah, there we go. All right, so let's take one that has some blanks here. Give me some instruments to employ here.
Woodwinds and harpsichord.
All right. So I don't know if it'll use both at the same time, but let's see what happens. So it'll be a vivace, or it should come up if I did this right, and I can't remember it because it's yeah, there we go.
Vivace.
Now it's just gonna spit out a piece of Baroque style music, which is in my mind really, really cool.
Yep. He's composing right now.
Look at him right. Look at him go.
He's only composing on one side of the page though. Multiple harpsichords. 4 harpsichords.
Well, it's 4-part writing, not necessarily 4 harpsichords.
No, this is harpsichord 1, harpsichord 2, harpsichord 4. That was lovely.
Yes. So let me show off something that I actually didn't get a chance to because it glitched out all over the place when I did this with using the CD and an emulator. Since I actually have the disc and I have the console. Hooray me, because I'm a giant nerd.
Woo!
So we have 5 different visualizations. So the musical analysis is my favorite because I get to see all the notes and everything that's actually going on in the piece of music, which...
Or, well, most of the notes.
Well, the sharps and flats are missing, but it tells you what key it's in, so it's a little bit easier to interpret. So it'll compose another piece. Or maybe it'll start this one over again. I can't remember what it does. But we get to look at nice scenery while we listen to some Baroque style music.
Ah, the idyllic
Beat up cabin.
256 color countryside.
Hey, this was revolutionary at the time. Shut
It
up.
was. I'm not denying that. Now it is less so.
A little bit.
This is what, 20 years old now?
It's old.
Squirrel!
It's a fast squirrel.
It is a fat squirrel. Well, he's also widescreen.
No, that's still a fat squirrel.
He's a fat squirrel even if he's not in widescreen, but he's got a rock for a tail. And we will go visit the farmland.
Farmland.
We're going to see the barn.
At the farm.
The farm. There's a bunch of rocks. Here's the dock. And here's some socks. Hey, why is that ladder all bent?
You might be able to hear the system chugging on the microphone.
That'd be kind of funny. I actually very much appreciate it. Nice photo. 3D beat
So this one's not terribly exciting. So let's change some other things along with the graphical representation. So let's get a different style going. So let's get rid of that. Let's get a Gigue going. Let's get a Gigue on synthesizer going.
Good old synthesizer Gigue.
Yep.
Woo!
Because why not?
Playing that old time synthesizer Gigue.
Just take those old transistors off the shelf.
I'll sit and modulate them by myself.
Alright, so let's change the graphics.
Graphics!
Graphics.
We're getting good graphics!
Alright, so let's go to C.P.U. Bach in concert.
This is the creepy one. It's got a hell of a synth.
Yeah, it looks like an organ.
It's got a chord the size of a house. I'm C.P.U. Bach. My number one hero is real Bach. I wish to someday take his place. Beep.
Oh, that's some awful synth.
I don't think the composition's very
No. So let's look at some of the other ones.
Let's change the graphics, and perhaps it won't suck so bad this time.
Musical kaleidoscope.
I feel like I'm having a
So obviously, if you've been taking drugs before watching this, I would highly recommend skipping this portion of the video. Although
It's too late for that now.
You probably already know that if you already got here.
Oh god.
But let's go to the last one.
Having CGA flashbacks, man.
So optical medley.
Is the optical medley just cram them all together?
Basically. At least if I remember correctly, it does.
Look at these rocks. There's a lot of pictures of rocks in this.
Ducks!
Duck butt!
Duck, duck, duck.
Duck, 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 duck butt.
It's a great picture of duck butt right there.
It's composing a new Gigue.
Alright, let's give it something else to do and not comment over top of it this time.
What?
Let's do this, because the visualization changes a little bit. Actually, oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do.
Wrong one!
Let's actually just do a different... Let's do a fantasia for strings.
Fantasia.
Oh, no. There we go. Fantasia for strings.
Woo!
Can't take looking at that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the musical kaleidoscope is not great. Ah.
This is why I wanted to change the
Creepy, shiny-haired Bach. Plays with the ghosts.
this.
Honestly, that one violin just doesn't do anything.
The viola has nothing to do right now.
Sitting there with its perspective not making a damn lick of sense.
Welcome to playing a viola in a string quartet.
No, I mean, like, why does the string for the cello go underneath it when it looks like it's lying down on the floor next to the piano?
Let's go back to the one that's probably the least assaulting on the eyes.
Least offensive.
You guys can learn some basic music theory while we're at it.
I don't know if this really does a good job of teaching music theory. Perhaps it's an introduction. You will be familiarized with some of the concepts. I don't know if you really even talk that much.
Well, if some of them would hang around long enough, you could learn something.
Well, I mean, I get the idea of, like mode implementation and stuff like that. But there's no really whole lot of context. Sounds like it's playing fast forward.
Things like this makes me wish I had this when I was in college. It made composition a lot easier.
C# minor.
Yeah, it's pretty gross key. So that's the general gist of what CPU Bach is. Now that I've actually had a chance to show it off in all its glory, or at least you could say that. I guess the thing that really disappoints me, and I think I mentioned this on the other video, is that stuff like this doesn't exist beyond this. Like, as far as, like, actual just kind of generative music that, like, for most public, kind of disappoints me, actually.
I agree. I mean, I know that there is stuff sort of like this, but it's really like, we're talking like you might be able to find something like this as like a plug-in for something else. If you're lucky.
Yeah, I mean, to take just the entire ideas of a musical era, like from, 100 some years of music, and kind of boil it down into one little program that fits onto a CD from 1994 is pretty ridiculous.
Well, it's clever programming, but I think it's pretty cool that they could even possibly think to do this in anywhere close to real time 20 years ago. That's pretty crazy.
But yeah, that's C.P.U. Bach.
Also, I think you should tell our viewers how much they need to donate in order to get the tote bag.
We'll return you to great programming once we give this pitch for donating to your local idiots with a microphone and a recording box.
Yep. Brought to you by viewers like you and the Chip Foundation. I don't even think it is. No, it's not brought to us by the Chip Foundation. I don't even think the Chip Foundation is a thing. Chip is a thing, but the Chip Foundation isn't.
No. It's brought to you by Frank J. Signpost.
Frank J. Signpost and viewers like you. The foundation for a better tomorrow. And viewers like you.
Tomorrow. But if you want kind of a more extensive...
If you want more information on C.P.U. Bach...
Not necessarily.
Visit your local library.
I would highly recommend to check out our first video. It's a little choppier than this one. But you get to hear a lot more of the actual compositions itself without us talking over top of them. Because nothing else seemed to work at the time. Because apparently this doesn't emulate well, even from a disc, which is what I was using. Which is a little weird, but whatever.
Well, to be fair, I mean, how many people do you think are really working on a 3DO emulator? What do you have? What's your motivation to emulate the 3DO? Really, what's your killer app that you need to play? Oh man, I really gotta
C.P.U.
play.
Bach.
I really gotta play. That fighting game from the Crash Bandicoot guys.
I don't even know what you're referring to.
Oh God, what was that? That was See, now I gotta look this up. What the hell was the 3DO good for,
It being $800 is what it was good for.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was rather expensive. Now you can find one for like $40, which is about what I bought mine for.
Way of the Warrior. Oof. Yeah, that was not a good game.
Yeah, I mean, the whole system was designed strangely. I mean, like, to use more than one controller, you plug the second controller into the first controller.
Yeah, that's
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
But check out our first video on this if you want a little bit more, and especially if you want to listen to me rant on and on about Baroque music more. I don't know why you would want to, but hey, to each his own.
Everybody's into their own stuff.
Sure. But yeah, that's pretty much C.P.U. Bach. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to it and seeing kind of what it's capable of doing now that I actually can do that.
Woo!
Yay! And see you next time.